All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting started. Okay, so we're going to go through a few things here, and we're going to go through the building the ambulance. Give me just 1 second here, and we'll get pulled up. Oop. Notice that I have a quieter mouse today. Got a wireless one that doesn't have all the irritating clicking and whatnot. So just so people know. That thing needs to go away. Good day. Raining here. Okay. Yeah, no, it was actually a really nice day here. So that was pretty good. All right. I'm going to log in. All right. So let's see here. We'll start off with I know everybody's been wanting to see the ambulance, so I'm going to start off with that. We're going to do a screen share, and we're going to check this out right here. So hopefully you guys can see this.
Release the Kraken! Get on it. Maybe just mark it up.
Okay, so you can see that it's a very big, cool looking vehicle. And I built it. I thought, you hear and see people build ambulances from time to time, and there's some good things about it. And there's some things that are just, it's difficult to say. Right out of the gate, if you were to ask me if I were going to build another ambulance after having done it, I would probably say no. However, do I regret building it? No, as well. So I'm glad I did this once. I'm glad I built it once, but I'm not sure that I would do it again. And it boils down to maintenance, size, parking, just all of the above. It's pretty crazy. It worked out for me. I was able to buy this ambulance for about $10,000 cash, and it's diesel, it's 4-wheel drive, it's everything that we wanted to be. And for those of you that were not part of part one, the first thing that we did, so this is part two. This is the second part of how to build a service vehicle or locksmith vehicle, how to build a car, a van, a truck, an SUV, an ambulance. Like, I've done it all. I've built trailers. I've built 8 different service vehicles, and we've just done so many different things that I've kind of got a pretty good idea about what the basics are. So last week, if you want to catch up, you can look up the version from last week. It's at the top of my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's right there from last week. I've been actually featured in Business Fleet magazine for one of my builds, for one of my van builds. They called it Fantastic. This was May, June of 2015. So I built a 4-wheel drive converted Quigley van, and it was pretty cool. It was this one right here. Then I decided that vans were not really for me, and we needed to go a different route. Here's me building my little backup car. So I've built everything from like $1,000 budget ride to $100,000 F-350. Okay. I've done just about everything you can do. I've done utility body trucks. I've done all these different things. This was beast mode. This was featured a lot last week as well. I'm going to come back to this one today. But the most important thing is let's go over this ambulance right here. So when we first got this thing, it was all white. It looked just like a regular ambulance. And I had taken a ton of pictures of this thing and like actually featured the entire process. I painted it myself. I did all of the work. I ripped all of the interior out and we filled all of the interior back in with Locksmith stuff. And I did capture that process. I can't find it anywhere in any of my cloud databases. So I am still looking for that information. I sure do hope I find it, but at this point, I just don't have as much as I wish I had. So this is it after it's been painted and after it's been lettered and everything else. This is a 2001 Ford F-350. This is actually a dually 7.3 liter diesel motor. Again, these diesel motors are some of the longest lasting engines on the road. Quite literally, if you type into Google, how long is the 7.3 International Ford Power Stroke diesel motor supposed to last? It literally says 500,000 miles, 500,000 miles, more than almost any other engine ever put into production. That's why I buy them. That's why I use them. That's why I run them. The other truck that we have, this one right here, beast mode, this guy right here, has almost 400,000 miles on it already. So it's living proof that you can actually get that mileage out of these things if you take care of them. Now, this one was in a wreck as well. So we'll go over how this thing would happen to it when we got into a wreck. We'll go over a couple of the different build features that I put into it and a lot of the different stuff that we have going on with it right now. So right now, this vehicle is actually over at the shop. It's been getting worked on. Sadly, I believe I had an ex-employee sabotage this vehicle. And I believe when they left under poor conditions. They felt that they were wronged in some way, shape, or form or another. And I believe they put gas into my diesel engine. We confirmed that. I sent off a fuel sample to the sampling facilities, which if anybody ever wants to know how that works, Caterpillar Wagner does fuel sampling. They do fuel sampling and oil sampling for their equipment. So find your local Caterpillar dealer or any heavy equipment facility for that matter, and they should have an ability to be able to test your diesel or test your oil and see if there's fuel or gas in it. Mine had a high concentration of gas. It had such a high concentration of gas that it actually melted the little sample bottle that we sent it with. And so they confirmed, I got confirmation from them that yes, this was indeed intentionally sabotaged and gassed. Now, why is that important to me? I just want to stop share for 1 second right here. Why would that be important to me if I understand, know, and document that this vehicle was sabotaged? Can anybody answer that question? Insurance, okay? If somebody accidentally put gas in there, which all of my techs are trained never to do, then that would be user error and stupidity. What did happen, I had an employee, they were fired under not very good conditions. They just basically kind of kept making excuses to show up for work, and eventually I had to fire them. So then I got rid of them, fired them, and it wasn't a day or later, the vehicle started having issues. It started knocking real bad, and we found out that the engine was compromised. So it's not because the engine failed on its own. It's because it was 100% sabotaged with gas, which will break any diesel engine. Okay, you run gas through any diesel engine, you're going to have major problems. It's very, very bad. So that is why this one is getting a new engine, and that's why it's at the shop right here. It's not in the best condition right now. It's a little messy. It hasn't been worked out of quite routinely as normal, but I did want to make sure that I got everybody pictures on this. So number one, this is a giant rolling billboard. Okay, this is a rolling advertisement for my company. So many people see this truck and they're like, oh, the big black trucks. This is branding and marketing to a T. I have a rolling billboard rolling around, making money and advertising at the same time. That's why it's big, it's black, it's bold, it's gold, it's yellow. You cannot miss this thing coming down the road. And it's got a really cool name, Safe Kraken, 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 like the mythical creature, very big, very, nautical themed. And then Safe Kraken as well, cracking safes. Okay, it's got a cool little vibe to it. And it kind of looks like a big, giant, old antique safe, a big, giant black box rolling up and down the hill with this old style graphics on here. Okay, so that's a little bit of the history behind it and why we chose it. There's a lot of external drawers on this thing. So we utilize that here. You can see we've got different lock cylinders, different latches, back sets, Olympus locks, drawer cylinders, all kinds of different stuff. And that one just pulls right out of the side right here. Back here, we have a additional door. Now, this particular ambulance, this is where those quirky little things just constantly keep this thing down. It requires an air system to run the suspension. So it has quite literally like a semi or a tractor trailer style air suspension because it's so big and so heavy. So in order to run that air suspension system, you have to have a compressor. Well, the natural compressor or the stock compressor has blown out and been broken long ago. We looked up part numbers, but they no longer make it, and they don't have a good equivalent replacement. So I have to keep an additional external air compressor right in this drawer right here. We've also got some extra fuel cans. We can help customers out if they're out of fuel, or if this needs fuel, you can get fuel to the vehicle. Got a tow strap, some basic lockout tools. This little compartment right here is kind of the emergency bin. Anything emergency related would be in this little bin right here. And then again, you can see Tri-County Locksmith, Safe Kraken, Locksmith. It tells you everything that we do, electronic access, safes, and keypads. Here inside, we're utilizing some of the glass doors to store touch-up paint, wood filler, just things that you're going to run into where you come in, somebody's hacked a job, and you need to repair things and make it look kind of nice. That's what all the stuff in this particular compartment right up here does. Same thing with this one right here. We've got, looks like some plastic stuff, some oils and things like that over in this particular little glass compartment. That one's not the best picture. Okay, so over here, you can see it is a little messy inside here, but we've got all these little bins. It's not pack out. So pack out didn't come out yet. Pack out was not a thing when I built this. Otherwise, we would have built it all off of pack out. So we had all these little husky tough bins, and we would just use these crossed bungee cords to hold everything into these compartments. Okay, so I've got latches, I've got disc cam locks, I've got electronic strikes, I got all this different stuff, and we can shuffle this around and I'm trying to utilize everything that we can from the ambulance itself to be able to maximize space. Here, now finally, some of the newer stuff, we did add some Milwaukee pack-out plates to the center so that we could then start stacking things on here, but this is a new, more modern improvement. Here is one of those really big, heavy-duty Milwaukee toolboxes, all roller ball bearings. I mean, a very nice setup, workbench on top, key duplicator right here. We'll normally have a Freeman number 2 on here as well. A bunch of different key blanks, other key copying and code machines. We can mount our Triton on here if we want to, but this is where a lot of the magic happens. We got a lot of safe stuff down in these bottom drawers, safe deposit locks, safe locks, master padlocks, pin kits, all of that fun stuff is in all these drawers here. And you'll notice we added these little bolts to keep these drawers from flying around as we're driving down the road. You can lock them, but if you ever lose the keys, then you got to do your locksmith thing and pick this lock open. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I just locked these independently. But this is a really nice workbench. We've got an extension cord that rolls up. I've got all my battery charging systems over here. I actually glue or epoxy or use some kind of silicone caulking and glue these things down so they don't move around. So I've got a supercharger, I've got another supercharger, 2 regular chargers, and Dremel tool charger. My little Dremel tool takes a different battery over here, and then a big long extension cord for power tools. Here I left the emergency seat in this position. You can see these 2 big power lines right here actually go to the vehicle's battery system, and then we have a power inverter up here so that we can have power, AC power, in the machine. I believe we have a 3,000 watt power inverter for this particular machine. You can see we left the chair here. So this is actually our pinning and workstation, and then this is the chair where you can sit and do your pinning and workstation. We've got a heater or air conditioner right here that's mounted there for climate control if you need that. And then we have our auxiliary battery, and we're currently switching the power inverters out on these. So the normal power inverter would just sit right here. We have that auxiliary battery. I told you guys before, everything when you're mounting a power inverter, when you're installing a power inverter being what takes your 12-volt vehicle power, the power that runs the vehicle, and converts it into 120-volt plug-in power, like to your house power, right? Run big, heavy-duty house-powered things off of this device. Most of the key machines require 120-volt power, and the charging devices do as well. So we need to have that. You have to have an extra battery. I cannot stress this enough. If you have a power inverter, you need to have an additional auxiliary dedicated battery or power hosting reservoir within 12 inches from that power inverter, meaning do not have more than 12 inches of cable or wire running from this to your power inverter. You will lose all of the strength, all of the power of that power inverter if you have really long lead runs, meaning your electricity runs in big, heavy-duty cables all the way to the front of the car to the battery. That is no good. It's not going to help you. Your amperage is going to drop so much by the time you get from point A to point B because your wire is so long, it's never going to work. So this is the alternative. Now, we do tap into the battery's power supply, but we don't rely on it alone. So there is one long cable that comes from the battery of the vehicle to the power inverter to this battery. And then as soon as a shock hits it, like we turn on a light or fire up a heavy duty air compressor or fire up a 13 amp angle grinder or drill, it's going to shock load that battery. But because we have that battery there, it takes the shock right out of it, and it allows the power inverter to not overheat, not short out, and continue to work. If you didn't have this battery here, that would not be the case. This is our pinning station. I got a little pinning 3D printed table right here. Again, it's a little messy right now. It's been out of commission for a little while because of the engine getting replaced. But for the most part, we have a pinning kit back here, pin on this tray, and that's really all that this thing needs. Here is from the outside looking in. This is the chair, pinning station. This is all of our battery charging stuff. I've got a 12-volt battery charger up here, and then our toolbox is standing right over here. I am 6'1", and I can stand in this ambulance and not hit my head. So here's the door that we were just looking in. This is the main side door that comes in. This is some of the stuff that I do like about this vehicle. It is roomy. If it is cold and nasty and snowy and rainy out, it is great to be inside of this thing. It also has lots of doors, so you don't have to duck, you don't have to crawl, you don't have to body surf over a bunch of stuff. You just walk right up in. It's got steps built into it, front and back, and it's just really user-friendly for that particular application. So here's what it looks like on the inside. Automatic transmission. This vehicle has about 170,000 miles, I believe, and we've put one transmission in at about 160,000 miles. Because the vehicle was an emergency vehicle, it was an emergency responder vehicle, it is oversized. I do have a 50 state legal tune on this to drive up the power to help this thing move around a little bit. The transmission is kind of the weak point on here. Now, when I had the transmission rebuilt, I had them build it to racing standards, meaning that I had them build this to withstand 800 horsepower and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. That means they put extra clutch packs inside the transmission as they're building it so that it can really hook up and it can handle the weight and the torque of this machine. Okay. So we've got a center console. This is all the ambulance stuff. This is your air pressure gauge right here. And then this one just has this screen for your CD, DVD, Bluetooth, radio player, whatever there. And this is just kind of what it looks like inside. You got some cup holders, seats, all the typical things that a typical vehicle would have. Here's what it looks like from the other side. You got another seat over here. That's the air filter. And then we're walking back around. So here's more storage, big, long, tall storage. Can throw continuous hinges in here, carry them around all day, no problem whatsoever. Latch guards, big, long, tall things, long drill bits, all that stuff can go right in to this magic little door right here. Let's see, there's another picture of that. Okay, you can see I used this to tow. This is my big heavy-duty trailer. We've got chains on the vehicle. I've got snow socks on the front. This was a nasty installation. We had to take 2 safes up this teeny tiny little thin road covered in snow. Did not want to slide off, so we actually put some snow socks on the trailer because the trailer tires can tend to slide from side to side as well. If the trailer slides off the road, I'm gone. It's going to drag me with it. Even though this thing looks big and heavy, if that trailer goes off, it's probably taking me at least off the road with it. Here it is using our smaller little safe chariot trailer. Again, I did a lot of safe deliveries with this thing, and it worked out really, really good. You can see I'm delivering 2 safes right here. These 2 came from Cabela's. I'm going to take those on a trip and go deliver them. Now, here it is when we had some air suspension issues, and I had to tow it with my newer truck. This is my new heavy-duty F-350, and you can see it's pretty squatted. It was not real happy to have this thing. This thing this setup right here probably weighed 25,000 pounds, something like that. Maybe not that much, maybe 20 or 14. No, it was rated for 14. So 14,000 pounds on here. And it barely fit. You can see the ramps didn't stick up all the way, but it held it. We got it moved. We got it to where we could get the air suspension fixed. And my truck was not real happy pulling this thing around with this weight distribution. Okay, so that is the ambulance. I'm going to come back to the main screen here. Let's see. Do we have any questions or comments so far? I'm going to do one sponsorship here. Hinge Doctor is our sponsor. Okay, so hopefully you guys could see that. And then let's see here. Okay, so now our ambulance did get in a little bit of a wreck, and we'll show what that looked like. So I always try and put heavy duty bumpers on my trucks. You can see it. We did that with the van too. And this saved me big time. You can see with the van right here, we had a big heavy duty bumper on it right here. Big heavy duty angle iron. I actually made this bumper right here. That's all bridge decking C-channel. And that hit a few deer, wildlife, things like that, and always allowed me to keep running. So we put a big heavy duty brush guard on this one as well. And you can see what happens in a 20-mile-an-hour crash with a Toyota. Completely decimated this thing. They had to get towed away. We drove away no problem. Okay, so you can see it did kind of shove that brush guard up into the grill just a little bit, but Josh drove away and no problems. I mean, we had to take it to the body shop and they had to pull things out. They put a new bumper on it, but other than that, everything worked extremely well. You can see it just kind of folded it back into the headlight right here and kind of got this side. But for the most part, the main thing was my tech was safe for this. Okay. He was able to walk away pretty much unscathed. I think he had no injuries whatsoever and basically drive home. I mean, there was nothing going on here. Because he was in a big heavy duty vehicle, it protected him from the elements around him. I don't think there was any charges or anything. I believe they've cited I don't know exactly how all the legal details worked out, but I don't believe he ended up getting a ticket or there was any wrongdoing or anything like that found. So just to kind of give you guys an idea, that is the ambulance and the ambulance project. Not sure that I would do one again. I'm really not sure that I would do one again. They're a little bit too big. They're a little too hard to park. There's just a lot of stuff going on, you know? And there's a lot more moving parts. It's also kind of like having a giant camper on the back, already having a lot of weight. They already have a ludicrous amount of weight built into them. You're then adding more weight in tools and lock stock and all of this other on top of it. You quickly find yourself getting overweight. So that just based on the sheer weight alone, that is one of those reasons that we just it's just too big off the bat. Now they have new ones. If you had a new one like an F550 or something like that, that may be better. I apologize. We had the wrong screen up when we were doing our little GKL commercial here. So let's see. Yes, share that. Hopefully you can see that. There we go.
Hey, what's going on? This is Wayne here with Tri-County Locksmith Service, and we are checking out the Hinge Doctor from GKL Products. We are at the HL Flake 10, and we are at the Aloha Convention. Steve is going to do a demo on this and show us how this works on this miniature door right here. The Hinge Doctor is a great product, and I get a lot of requests on videos for this, so we're finally doing a demo.
Okay. The green ones are for residential hinges. The black ones are for standard commercial hinges. The blue ones are for ball bearing hinges. The red one is for prison hinges and bomber spring hinges. They're very simple to use. You can repair a sagging door in 15 seconds. Simply put the hinge over the top, put the tool over the top hinge, attach a wrench, force the wrench towards the door lock, and it will lift the door up and back. And you cannot over adjust it. Then remove the Hinge Doctor and you're done. All right, it's that simple.
Wayne's. There you go. That simple. Hinge Doctors, and again, I don't sponsor any products that I don't use. I pretty much use the Hinge Doctor at least twice a week. And every time I use it, I charge an additional $25 for a hinge adjustment. So every week, even more than twice, probably 2 or 3 times a week, it's putting $100 into my company's bank account at least every week. Probably even more, actually more, because I have 2 techs running around, and I'm sure they use it once or twice a week as well. It's probably putting $200 or $300 into that bank account every week. So they are a little expensive to get into initially because there's a couple different ones. You got to have different versions of it. But other than that, I cannot think of one single tool that fixes more problems than that tool. Every time there's an alignment issue with a deadbolt or a strike going into the frame, 9 times out of 10, it's because it's too low and it's running into the frame or running into the strike plate. The Hinge Doctor fixes the actual problem. Instead of doing the hacksmith thing and grabbing your grinder or, Dremel tool and dremeling out the strike and modifying it, even though it might be fire rated, you're actually now altering that strike and doing bad things instead of correcting the actual problem, which is raising the door and the lock back up so that things align again. Hinge Doctor is by far one of the easiest to use, most used tools that I carry on my truck. And I am not exaggerating. All right. So I've gone over the van last week, and we went over the car as well. We had 2 different shows. The live show did not turn out the way that I wanted to. The live show last time we covered beast mode a little bit, but it didn't get covered in the one that actually is being released and recorded. So I'm going to go back over it quickly through here. Okay, so we're just going to go through this. Basically, I was describing, the Subaru I built for $1,000. I could tow it. I could drop off my van. I could keep moving. I could keep making money for that day and keep going. That was the point behind that. When the van blew up, I had to do something different. I had to get a different work vehicle. So when we got a different work vehicle, I wanted to start going with a F350 heavy duty truck. Basically, I wanted the biggest, baddest thing that I could possibly purchase with the most horsepower and torque, and a toolbox to get me from point A to point B without having to have a CD out. This is that. Okay. So we cut off the ladder rack. This was what it looked like when I went to go pick it up initially right here. This is pretty much it. This is almost right when we bought it. So we cut off all the ladder rack, put on a dash cam. Dash cam is absolutely important, mandatory. I will not have a service vehicle without dash cams. There are far too many people who want to take advantage of you in this world to not have a dash cam. You have to protect yourself. You have to CYA. You have to cover your assets. And I don't even believe in one dash cam. My trucks actually have 2 dash cams. I believe 2 is 1 is none. And I've had so many dash cams break that I ended up buying 2. That way, if one doesn't capture the footage, the next one does. There's far too many idiot drivers out there. Cell phone holding dock, very important to make sure that your hand's free. Old CB radio. Take a step back in time. Your CB radio is a great tool for remote location work where cell phone service is spotty. Being able to talk to truckers and get a heads up on accidents, road hazards, and road conditions, and even law enforcement is a huge benefit to having a CB in there. Also, if your phone's down and you have no phone service, your CB still works. Here, we're getting ready to get the box rhino lined. I prepped all of the metal myself. That was going to be the expensive part of it, is all the sandblasting, taping, and prepping. So I did all that myself. Here it is, getting ready to get that rhino line job. We just did the box on the back. So I just roughed everything up, got it all ready to rhino line, did all the taping and everything, just like you see here. Okay, inside, outside, I cut the roof off of it to extend the roof up 4 inches. I had more room and height, opened up all the drawers. Everything is Line-X'd or rhino lined inside of here. Okay, everything. And it turned out to be an excellent choice because this truck is still on the road today. Now, you can see what it looks like after it's been Line-X'd. It's beautiful. They actually put a UV resistant Line-X coating on here for the external portions and put the regular stuff on the inside. Looks beautiful. They did an amazing job. This bill was cut into about a third of what it was originally going to be if I had them do all the prep work. If I had them do the prep work, it would have cost 3 times as much. I believe I spent about $800 or $900 on this. So 8, 16, 24 would have been $2,500 to have them do all the prep work. And our ladder racks, our first beast mode stickers that did not stay on. There's me in front of the truck, all nice and happy. Another picture from the back, from the side, and the inside. Beautiful looking now. Now I'm going to take this diamond plate aluminum. I'm going to put this and build a roof out of it. Okay, that's what we're showing there. Here is the truck getting ready to tow my safe moving trailer after we just got everything done on it. Here is the side boxes with all my tools. You can see that everything hangs, it holds, it sticks, it stays. Okay, everything in its place, all red Milwaukee tools. I burnt up all of my DeWalt stuff. It just couldn't hang with me. So I had to get rid of the yellow and I had to go for the red. So far to date, I haven't had any tools burn up on me. Milwaukee is amazing. When I posted that picture a couple pictures ago, a buddy put this on there. He thought it looked so cool. It looked like some kind of really cool military thing. So he threw that up on there. So I just figured I'd throw it in here for some fun, just because it's cool. Then we got rid of those stock tires, went to some 35 1250s, new rims. Just really set this thing off and give it some flotation and allow for more weight. Because we have this bigger high flotation tire, it actually rides better, it drives better, and it handles the weight much better than before. As far as the BFG tires, I do not like them. I would never buy them again. Goodyear Duratrax, one of my favorite tires. BF Goodrich All-Terrains, I wouldn't put those on anything I ever own again. I was not impressed with those at all. But it looks way cooler now. Okay, so you can see it's fuller, it's bigger, it's beefier, it supports the weight better. Now we're ready to rock and roll. And we put it right to work, right in the snow, right off the get-go. Good looking truck. Okay, get it right up in there in the snow, in the mud, right off the bat. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Then we've got some other things. At about 200,000 miles, it was about 180, 200,000. We had to replace the turbo anyway. So there's the old turbo, there's the new turbo. And we did end up putting a 50 state legal Banks enhancement kit on here. Gives us better fuel efficiency, more horsepower, more torque. So, but it's actually like built into the computer. And you actually have to put the new turbo on as well. So that's what we're doing here. A buddy of mine has a shop. Changed out the turbo, put everything in. Amazing vehicle. It worked great after that. Ended up getting probably 3 or 4 miles per gallon, quite literally, jumping up from 10 to 12 to 12 to 14, sometimes even 16. Here's the inside. We're starting to build this thing out. Show you guys kind of how we built it. There's a big bed slide. I used my forklift to put this giant bed slide in here, mount the bed slide in, and now all the tools will come out. The first version of this I set up was designed for everybody for you to get into the vehicle like a van. I did not like that setup. It did not work well for me. So I abandoned that and I set it up this way so that everything comes out to me, which is much more important and much better than having to crawl into it. Maximum load capacity, 1,200 pounds. So we'll throw a couple of giant toolboxes on here. Use a drill bit with a tap on it so that we can bolt it directly to the bed and the floor and the structural support of the vehicle. And then now you can see how the whole bed slides right out and brings all of the goods that are inside and makes them accessible to me. Here goes that first toolbox. Again, we use our safe moving lift. Throw that Milwaukee toolbox up on there. Just like that. And then do the same on the other side. Notice we got this other toolbox right here. And we got our key machine, a Freeman #2 key machine right there. Beautiful. And this is what the bed slide looks like from the inside going out. 1, 2, 3 stages. Okay. Pretty cool stuff. Pin kit mounted on the inside. That was taken out after the fact. 3,000 watt power inverter. Mounted right here, right by the shifter. Now, one thing that I want to talk about with this power inverter for a second is this is the first time I had a professional company wire it in. Why did I do that? Well, one of the reasons I did it is liability. If I set this up and something arcs or something rubs through the insulation of the wire, and we have a big, huge, fat O gauge, double O gauge wire running from this power inverter to the main battery, okay? If that wears through and arcs, that's an instant fire, no questions asked. That is direct high amperage directly to that battery in the vehicle. It will start a fire. So if I have a professional company do it, they are the ones that choose the wire path. They're the ones that know where to protect the wires and where pinch points are. And they are the ones that then assume that liability if anything happens after the fact. And then here you can see it used to be green. Let's see here. Of course, I don't have. Yeah. But then we painted it black. So I painted both the ambulance and this. I painted all of my vehicles. Okay. Don't have extra money for paint and to have them painted. So I did it. I pulled them in the shop. I taped them off. I painted everything. And that came out beautiful. Here's what it looked like while it was in the shop being painted. Okay. Had a lot of old, real old paint fading, and the clear coat started fading and everything else. Just like this, taped all that stuff off, the box off, got all this painted, sanded it down, sanded all the chrome down, painted all the grill and everything. Basically just blacked this whole thing completely out. And it turned out really nice. Look at this picture right here. Came out really clean, really nice. Now you can see I'm running those Goodyear Duratrax on there. Much better tire, in my opinion. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there you have it. We have covered how to build Astro van. Okay. Old first car, Astro van. Notice brush guard, grill guard. I built that one as well. Definitely saved this vehicle from impacting deer on more than one occasion. Then we built this four-wheel drive Quigley conversion van. That is from the first episode. If you're interested in seeing that, go ahead and do so. Made it into Business Fleet magazine. Realized that we had a little bit of talent at this for out-of-the-box thinking and unique design. Van blew up, or the van was on its way out, and ended up having to get another truck as well. Once we had the other truck, we then built that out. We also built everything, or a Subaru, under $1,000. Little toolbox, little power inverter. Everything we have in all the other vehicles just shrank down. Don't tell me that you can't get a service vehicle. You can. It's not that difficult. You can get something that you can afford and start running calls immediately. I had less than $1,200. I wrapped the whole thing. Again, this was white. I wrapped it all black, put all my own graphics on there. I did everything to build all of these vehicles. Okay. Then we've got beast mode build here. And next time we'll go over, I've got 2 trailers that we built and my Treminator vehicle. That's my new 2020 F350 that we built and set up, and we'll go into that. Let's see. Sup class. Okay, Milwaukee is the best. Cool. Yep, back on. All right. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Other than that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me get this information out there and paying attention. Utilize this information and learn from my mistakes. Okay. If, like I said, we set up that utility body truck to go inside and pin, it was a bad idea. Don't do that. There's not enough room in there. At least you have to be way smaller than me to be able to fit in there. Plus, it was brutally cold. All that steel around you, it was bitter. I actually set up an in-cab pinning station so I could sit in there with the heat or air conditioning in the summertime, heat in the wintertime, and most importantly, radio tunes. All right. No questions that I see here. I'm going to end the share. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, GKL Products, for sponsoring the program. We appreciate everyone involved. Please tell your friends about this. And if you're thinking about it, join Wayne's Lock Shop today. All of these pictures, everything that we looked at today, quite literally, is in wayneslockshop.com. That's where we were. I take this stuff, I post it in there. This is my life timeline right here, wayneslockshop.com. You simply go, apply, fill out the application. We will then read your application. If you meet all the credentials, you're welcome to join the party. Okay? Have a great day. Take it easy and enjoy your week. Thanks for joining.